Okay, welcome to this week's episode of the Path I've Chosen, the podcast showing you the careers they don't teach you about in school. My name's Sol.
I'm Jamie.
And this week we have on Mike, and Mike is the founder of InnerLink, which is a content marketing agency. Pretty big Instagram following, 75k, and is clearly putting in some very cool figures personally, but also building great businesses for other people as well. So Jamie, what can we expect from Mike today on the Path I've Chosen?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. He basically frames his work and his career as to how he helps to scale six-fig business owners, which is exciting enough in itself. So I'm interested to hear what he's got to say. So the three things that I'm most excited about, firstly, is how he went from serving tables in a bar to earning 30k monthly. Secondly, is why he decided to spend nearly 50k on mentorship himself. And thirdly, how ChatGPT and AI can either make or break your business.
Absolutely love it. Let's get into the podcast.
Amazing. Well, Mike, thank you very much for joining us. I know this has been a long time coming, but I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation. I think for the majority of this conversation, I think a few things might go over my head. I know it's obviously not my specialty. I know Sol's obviously a lot more clued up in the kind of world that you're in. So I think to begin with, I would like to start with a kind of bit of context around it, that if someone listening to this podcast is maybe considering creating content themselves and they might come across your page and they see the fact that you can 10x revenue within 3 weeks, what would that kind of key bit of advice be from you to say this is how you get started?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people look at it and look at personal branding in a way where it's like they've never done it before and it's new to them. So it's hard to explain the value and get them to see it when they've never experienced it. Because to me, when I first started, I thought it was crazy that a brand would reach out to you or someone would pay you, and it's like you've never met them in person before. The digital world is crazy. And I think that the fact that someone can pay you from the other side of the world and work with you, or not even from the other side of the world, just from on a computer, is crazy. So honestly, to go back to your question and I guess answer how they could get started, um, really the first thing is understanding that it's possible. And that is the hardest thing that you need to get your clients to understand, or I need to get my clients to understand, is that it's possible. Because even when I was starting, I didn't think it was possible. I just posted consistently, and for like, I'd say 90 days, consistently posting, even when views were low. And then all it takes is one video. Then that video hits, then it's another video, another video, another video, and it's like you don't know where exactly the people are coming from. You know that you're posting, you're being consistent with it, and that's what's bringing the people to you. You could tell which video they're coming from just because some videos are doing better at a certain time. But um, honestly, like, it's real. It's so real. It's kind of, sometimes I think it wasn't real, but it is, and it's crazy. So
I
yeah,
love it, man. So interesting. And that almost comes on exactly to where we want to go, which is talk about your story, Mike, which is tell us how the whole content journey started for you, my friend.
I mean, yeah, we were just posting when we were kids, like YouTube videos. Myself and my partner Lucas, we've known each other for a while, and we were just filming each other doing YouTube videos, just for fun. And I guess it started there. So we've always been doing some type of filming, but it wasn't too serious. It was just random stuff. For like 12 years old, but we were always kind of like the cameras. We had, when iPhones, or it was the iPod 4 that came out, we thought that was super sick, and we were like, let's film and post on YouTube because we were watching people on YouTube. So that's where we really started going in front of a camera. But then in the past, I'd say 3 years now, we started working with local businesses, and this is kind of where we figured out like we could take this to the next level. We started working with a restaurant, and from this restaurant, we ran ads for them, and we also did organic content. And through there, we saw results, and we are like, wow, I've never done this before. It's our first time trying it. We paid people to learn. I didn't know anything when I was starting. We paid people. I was working, serving tables, saving up tips to pay people to learn something, to implement it into a business. Tried it, failed, tried, failed, and just continued like that.
Wow. I think the key question for us and for our listeners is always like how do you ever see this as a career path? So I think there's a big bridge and a big gap, right, between starting to create content at 12 and now being able to do it as a career. So talk to us about like kind of the steps that you took to then actually, I know you talked about consistency and stuff, but I think it probably takes a lot more than that. And there was probably a time coming out of school that you maybe considered going down the kind of 9 to 5 route that we often talk about is the kind of path more often chosen. And yet you've ended up doing this. So how does those steps happen from being 12 years old to making this a career?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just finished school maybe 2 months ago, and I guess I had a choice either um, go all in on the business because this started off as something I was doing while I was in school. And I was
Well,
like, do I go work a corporate job? Do I go work 9 to 5? Or do I go all in on the business? Luckily, um, I've been doing this for a few years while I was in school on the side. I wasn't doing it to my full potential, but I was able to generate some income. And so when I was finished, I knew there was a potential there. Now, I guess the question was, sorry, can you repeat the question there? It was like, why did I?
yes. So how does it go from basically the realization? When was the realization that this could actually be a career, and what made you think I don't need to go and get a 9 to 5 because actually this is something I could do full time?
Honestly, it it never just clicked in my head. It was never just one quick realization. Ever since I was younger, I was trying things like e-com. I bought courses for that, looking into that. I tried day trading and I was investing in random stocks. I remember I bought cruise line stocks and I made like $17,000 from cruise line stocks. I put
Wow.
all my tips that I made in the restaurant in it, and then I tried day trading and then I lost 10 grand day trading. And I was like, wow, like that, the fluctuation of money and me losing it quick made me realize like money, like it's just like numbers on a screen and I can make this easily. And then I realized I was always trying things, right? Because I knew I didn't want to just work a 9 to 5 job and get a steady pay every 2 weeks. I saw that there's other people out there that had like the lifestyle, luxury, all these nice things. And I thought, like, why do these people have this and I don't? I don't think they're any better than me. Obviously, I looked at some people, and they just like I'm not hating against rappers or anything, but I look at some rappers and these guys just seem like idiots. Do you know what I mean? And they're making all this cash and they have all this money coming in. I was like, if this idiot can make a bunch of money, why can't I do it? Why do I have to work a 9 to 5 job and get paid only like 90K a year, even if that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's a fascinating like way of looking at it. And I guess then was that your main motivation? Was the motivation the financial side, or was it also you were enjoying the content at the time and wanted to carry it on, and then you can kind of marry the two, where one makes money whilst you get to do something you're enjoying?
I mean, the content thing, that like the content side of things came from I was serving tables at a bar and I
Right.
thought, how can I make more tips and also make some money on the side? So I thought, what if I do marketing for the bar? So then I talked to the owners, they weren't too fond about it. I was gonna quit that bar anyways, and I moved to a more high-end restaurant, started serving there, had the same idea again, thought if I can bring more people in, I can make more tips. And then from there, um, we brought more people in. I made more tips. I paid to learn, and that's how it started. And I thought also I'm going to keep growing this because let's say I want to venture off into new businesses in the future, I can always use marketing in every single one of my businesses. So if I put a team and a structure together now, I can use it for the future in every single one of my businesses because I know that I'll always need marketing.
Love that.
I love that. And when you started the business, were you thinking, like, did you, it sounds like you almost fell into doing it as opposed to being like, I'm going to build this up. Was it a case of just being like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this, and then had an expansion come about when you're bringing on more clients? Was it kind of step by step, or is there a grander vision here?
Yeah, honestly, you are right. We just kind of fell into it by trying things and continue to try things over and over again. And um, I guess I came to a point where it was working for me. I tried to do SMMA and just do ads and push that, but it wasn't really working as well. But when I realized I was always working with editors for myself, and I realized that I can go and reach out to other brands and put these editors inside their business, because that's what it is. I don't do all the editing myself, right? I'm a team. We have operations managers, we have editors, assistants. We have a whole full team. It's not just me. So I like the idea of working as a team and growing businesses, and I'm able to see it visually how they grow, not just something like day trading, whereas I sit there and I'm on a computer watching stocks go up and down. Um, but yeah, man, that's really it just kind of worked out for me, right? Just from nonstop trying things.
Hey Sol here, and I'll keep this interruption very brief, but I want to talk to you about a very exciting new opportunity that we have for you as a listener of the Path Less Chosen podcast. Because if you have skills, knowledge, or expertise in any area at all, then I would like to turn that into a wildly profitable online business. And I'm so confident when I say that, because we have done that for 30 people already, building businesses for people who have knowledge of sales, people who have knowledge of ad creatives, people who have knowledge about personal training, people who have knowledge about nutrition. All of these industries can be turned into profitable online businesses that will allow you to work when and where and with who and on what you want. And I wanted to say, as to thank you as a listener of the Path Less Chosen podcast, that we are offering you a completely no strings attached 15-minute roadmap call where we will paint the whole journey of how you can turn your expertise in any area into an online business. And if that sounds interesting, then what you can do is you can find the link in the description to either the podcast episode you're listening to or the YouTube video, and you can book in a call with my team and we will paint the whole roadmap for you. So if that sounds interesting, check out the link in the description, and I look forward to seeing you on there. I love it, man, and like it's so interesting because as we said before the start, like we're in very similar industries, and this whole like making money online, and I think the story that you tell is very similar to myself and a lot of other people, where you try all the kind of the online business is that you can kind of go down, and it all comes down to that kind of freedom. But for someone listening right now, some people may have an idea about that, but especially like we have quite a big UK audience where a lot of people are just in university thinking about 9 to 5s. They're not really thinking about other things. Give us a bit of an insight into, I mean, you don't have to share numbers, but give us a bit more of an insight into the life that you've built for yourself, and why it is maybe so attractive for people to be looking to get into it.
I mean, you're not going to get a steady paycheck. If that's what you want and you want comfort and you want a steady paycheck, you won't get it, especially when you're starting. But there's pros and cons. I mean, we've done 30K months, and I've seen $15,000 in a day go into my bank account, which was crazy to me. Especially at, like, I was like 22, and I was like, this is crazy. I mean, to get this in a day from someone that you've just met online, right? But it comes with like lots of sacrifice, to be honest, and it also comes with being able to kind of take a risk, and maybe some things won't work out, right? Some things might not work out sometimes. Sometimes it will. People are going to say, don't do this. They're going to doubt you. All of this is just part of the game, honestly. And at the end of the day, I love it. You know what I mean? What else am I going to do? Go work a 9 to 5 job? I can't go back now, you know? You can't go back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but it's crazy. I think obviously now, and you're now in that position, and it's amazing. You know, this is the kind of stuff that people dream of, and people that are listening that maybe want to get started and want to do something similar to this, or going to be inspired to at least look into this world and how they can maybe monetize it as a career, will be thinking, that's where I want to go to, right? That's a very, very healthy amount of money landing in their bank account. But I guess it's not always been like that. And we always like to kind of explain to people that it actually is going to take like the consistency at the start. It did for Sol. Sol will definitely be able to vouch for this on his front. Like it takes a lot of time to build up that consistency. And like you say, you get videos with no followers, you've got to keep posting. So just give, as a kind of, on an air of transparency for our listeners, how long has it taken you to kind of reach this position? And were there any times you felt like giving up, or was it always something that you knew you were going to get here?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been all in the past like month or so or 2 months. It hasn't been quick at all. I
Right.
mean, I look back at it and I think it's been maybe 4 years of sacrifice since I was done high school. I started working, I worked construction jobs, and then I started serving. And every time I'd serve, I would, I would not go out. I go out very slowly. I see a lot of my friends, a lot of people around me going out partying. I'd save my tips because I knew I wanted to try new business ventures. A lot of people say just go into shit and try it, but honestly, you need a little bit of capital so you can try things. Um, and that's what I was doing. I was saving up my tips, not going out, trying new things because I knew it would eventually pay off. I didn't know how it would pay off, but I knew if I kept trying and I never stopped, it will eventually pay off. And to be honest, even now that I may made a bit of money, I still don't think it's too much. And I know that if I keep going, I still have the mindset if I keep going, it will pay off. But it's taken maybe it's been like 4 years since I started um, just serving tables. I was like, I don't want to serve tables anymore. I started it and I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm just gonna make money serving, keep it, try new ventures, and keep going until something hits, right?
Love that. Yeah, and clearly now you're smashing it. So that's brilliant to see. But I think also for someone listening, and I know this might be the kind of dumbed down, simple question that Sol probably wouldn't ask, but I want to because I want to understand it in a bit more detail. What exactly is it that you're charging for, and what do you do on a daily basis for the clients that you're bringing on under your business, and how are you helping them to grow? I believe you call it content marketing. So maybe define what that is and explain how exactly it works.
Yeah, of course. So who we target is business owners, and a lot of business owners we noticed are doing big numbers. But the thing is, they're not leveraging their social media. Some people are, but they're not doing a very good job at it. So what we do is we charge 15K and it's a higher price, but the reason is all the client does is sit down for 4 hours a month and films what we tell them to film. We take care of everything and we make the process seamless for the clients. So all they have to do is sit down and film. And this is what we've noticed was our kind of where we had the most leverage, right? Is that the client can just sit down and film and grow their business. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it, man. In simple terms, but there's obviously a lot of more things that we take care of on the back end. It's
Mm.
I mean, a lot of people think
What
of it as boring stuff, but
What are some of the biggest struggles that you have with because the business model is so interesting, right? It's like going into as I see as well, like going into the social media side of things. I guess for for yourself operating data in the business, is it tough for you to run that business, or do you find that you're actually finding leads over and over again because people need help with their marketing?
yeah. So depending on how our posts do, inbound leads are very easy to close. Um, we've got a very good system in place where we attract a lot of inbound leads, but um, cold DM and cold outreach is something we're also going to look to push. To be honest, I wouldn't sell that to a client that they should do cold outreach. I'd rather put my system in place where they can attract inbound leads that are warm and hot and ready to buy. This is what we do. It works for ourselves. So leads, I mean, it's how you look at it, right? We've been putting content out for a while, and people just come to us and wanna book in. And once you get a client, or once we get a client, I mean, they stay with us usually because they like what we're doing, and they'll be a customer for life, right? So content is king, man. I don't know what else has brought to me in leads as good as content has. Warms them up. They hop on the call ready to buy. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's a nice position to get to. But I guess, does it come down to purely then your skills behind the camera in terms of creating content, or is there an element of you have to be quite salesy, but if they're turning up ready to buy, I guess it's purely because you've done something to already kind of earn that position, right? So what is it that you would say to someone now who, I guess if they tried to sell something without any kind of personal brand background, someone wouldn't just jump on straight to buy. So what would you say to someone like that? How have you managed to get into the position where it's so easy for you to close leads?
Yeah. So for us, it's easy, I guess, because we have the brand now, and we have the authority, and the content's good. But if you were someone just starting right now and you were looking to close, if I'm going to be honest, you know something that the prospect doesn't. If the prospect, I'm going to do it like, if the prospect is here
Mhm.
and you're just here, they'll buy from you. They can buy from you. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to be all the way up here, like where, with 75,000 followers and huge personal brand. You don't need to be here. All you need to do is just know a little bit more than they do. And when you give them that knowledge, they'll pay to get here with you, right?
It's fascinating. And how are you finding the development of yourself and your business with the people you're working with? Have you stuck with the same companies the whole time, or are you working now with individual entrepreneurs? How's your niche changed?
Yeah, so I'd say we started working with a lot of brick and mortar places, and we realized that we want to go fully online. We want to be able to work from anywhere. We don't want to have to go into places and film. So we kind of took a step away from brick and mortar places. And I mean, we could still work with brick and mortar places, but to be honest, they usually sell services like, let's say, like plumbing or HVAC or restaurants. Like they're good, but we want to work with strictly right now a lot of coaches, um, agency owners, even realtors. So this is who majority of our clients are. Even some larger companies that are looking to sell. We've noticed that we've had a lot of companies come to us that are looking to sell, and they want to grow their audience and get followers in, leads in. They want to grow organically and want to sell their company. It's been weird, but you can see why people might want to grow their audience before they sell.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it is fascinating. Like when I was looking through the Interlink page, obviously the stuff that you're putting out there is really like engaging, and you've done incredibly well to produce that content, but then also develop a really good following yourself. So you're at 75,000 followers now, I believe. So it'd be good to kind of share with people how have you got to 75,000 yourself, and then how do you use that as a kind of case study to demonstrate to the clients you're working with, like this is the kind of levels we can get to you in terms of exposure to an audience?
Yeah, so this was not done myself.
Right.
It's been put in by a team. I was able to, I mean, the most important thing I learned, I think early on, was delegation. I sat there editing videos and I thought, I'm not good at editing. Um, I don't want to put the time into editing and learn this. I'm just going to try paying someone. And to be honest, it was my first time paying a freelancer. I've never paid anyone online. I thought, I guess he might take my money wrong with it. Who knows? And this is where a lot of people are when I talk to them, honestly. Clients, they've never paid someone online. And there's people out there that scam. So I understand why people are skeptical. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pay him, see it works, and it worked out. And I was actually amazed. I was like, I just paid this guy. He did a job. I've never paid anyone to do a job for me before, and it was a crazy feeling, right? And then from there, we started delegating more and more and more, building teams. Um, Someone takes care of our account full time. We have editors in place, assistants, and we put a team together and systems in place that people follow to be able to grow the account. Because if you just rely on yourself, it's really hard. Like you're competing against teams out there. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard to just do this alone.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually a point that's really interesting that you've raised it, because Sol and I discuss it quite a lot, and I think like we have a bit of like disagreement on it as well about like outsourcing and like basically delegating and freeing yourself up to do like kind of more important things. I'm of
Which
the
is which is often weird when Jamie puts it like that, and then he's probably going to say he doesn't believe in outsourcing. So we'll
yeah.
get Mike's opinion. I look forward to hearing Mike's opinion on whether we should outsource or not.
No, no, definitely. I mean, I guess from what you're saying there, you did it from right an early stage, and we're happy to delegate. I think the kind of opinion that I have when I'm like building something is that always that I really hate like relinquishing control of it, and I always like to feel like I've got the control. Whereas Soul is 100% of the same mindset as you, Mike. He's like he knows that certain people can do certain jobs probably better, and actually his time is spent probably on more important things. So I think it'd be interesting to share what have you feel like you've gained from doing that, and do you think you'd be in the same place without the outsourcing?
Yeah, definitely. I would not be where I'm at without outsourcing. There's no way. I mean, my editing sucks. I don't think I could edit videos. Um, and I couldn't do a lot of the jobs that got done for me if I was trying to do everything. So I mean, I was in school, right? I was in school. I still had to study, and I thought I can't grow a page like as quick as I could if I was trying to do everything and study. I mean, people ask like, well, how are you doing this? Like, what's like, how are you doing balancing all this? Well, it's delegation. I mean, if you do enough, if you talk to enough people, you can find someone that'll do it for the right price that you want. I didn't have much money as a student, but I remember I'd go on these freelance websites and I would just text like hundreds, 200s of people just to try and find someone that could do the job good and at the right price that I was able to afford. And I guess I have a question for you though. What makes you kind of want to be in control? Like, what do you mean? You know?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, to be honest, I'm in an industry, I'm in the sports industry, and a lot of everything that I do and the work that I do and the conversations that I have is built purely off the personal relationship that I have with the person. So it's always difficult. Like, I know, for example, in your guys' world, a lot of leads will come from like cold outreach and things like that, which I guess you can pay someone to go and do on your behalf. But for me, there's no way I could build a kind of relationship where I would then end up doing deals with people in the sports world if it's not my own personal relationship. So I always have to have those conversations. I always have to have those initial phone calls, and I always kind of have to present my own like personal self. So I think that's maybe put me in like that kind of mindset. And then I think as well, just for example, the podcast and where obviously Sol and I discuss it is like anything that goes out. I always like to know what exactly it is and like to kind of be behind that and in control of it. But I guess it's something that, and I've read enough books that tell me that's wrong, and I've spoken to Sol enough that tells me that's wrong. And like one of our friends posted something the other day, and Sol tagged me in the comments and was like, "You need to like get up with the times." And I appreciate probably I do, but I think my kind of skepticism is that a lot of what I do in my line of work is built on my own personal relationships, and no one can really replace that. If I paid someone to have those conversations, it's just not possible.
Mike, to me, it sounds super unscalable. I'm sure that's the first thing you're thinking, right? But yeah, it's interesting that you've experienced the outsourcing thing because I'm sure for you, for your business, like it doesn't matter about the personal relationships, right, Mike? You've just got to work out. Well, not that it doesn't matter, but it's super important to make sure you can scale each. Otherwise, you know how have you done those 30K months without it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the personal relationships they matter, but as long as the work is getting done to the standards and the clients are happy, I mean, they're communicating with my team. I wouldn't give them someone that I didn't have my full trust in to work with. So that's where they're kind of coming from is like he works with me, like I speak to him all the time. You're still working with me. I still see everything and have overlook, but it's just it honestly it's more effective and the clients will get better results and better communication with me delegating versus me trying to do everything, right?
Fair enough. Maybe I'm not doing.
100%. It's interesting, isn't it? But we'll get there with Jamie. Don't worry, we'll get there. I'm sure he could invest in you, Mike, and But that actually that saying that word invest is super interesting because one thing that I've noticed across this whole industry is that people are often talking about their investments and people are talking about mentorship. So for your business yourself and for your knowledge, like have you had the help of someone else? Have you had the help of a mentor, or have you learned this all yourself?
Yeah, since I mean, I never knew how to do any of this, to be honest. Uh, Ever since the start, even the first, I guess, deal that I made was I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I would learn it. And I closed the deal, I remember. I had the confidence to show them that I was going to do it, even though I had no clue how. And I took that money and then I paid for someone to teach me how to do it. And then I tried it. So ever since the start, I've been paying people to teach me how to do things. Um, I mean, myself and my partner have probably spent over maybe like 50K on mentorship over the time. So it's been a lot, but it definitely pays off. I mean, how else? School didn't teach me anything, so I don't know how else I would have learned. These professors, they don't teach me how to make money. They never, I was looking at, I'd be in class sitting there. I was like, how can I make money with this? And I thought, I'm screwed. Like, if I don't learn something, I'm screwed because these guys ain't teaching me anything.
Who
Wow.
have you invested in, if you don't mind me asking?
Who specifically?
Well, I mean, like, I guess, yeah, just, I mean, for yourself, I mean, it's really interesting for me to know, but more in general, if someone was listening and they were like, okay, yeah, I want to jump on this online business world, like, how did you find your mentors, and what kind of niches or industries were they helping you with?
Yeah, so it started off with I paid for just like 2 sessions. I think this guy like ripped me off. I paid like $500 for like an hour, which was crazy. I was young and stupid at the time, and I didn't know too much. But he kind of just told me a few things to do. This was when I was just running ads, so I paid for that to learn how to run Facebook ads. I paid another guy how to learn how to run Facebook ads and set them up. I paid for a guy to teach me how to use some camera gear. I think it was some mentorship in a course because I didn't really know how to use cameras at all. Then we paid for some coaching that was like sales and ads and scale your business. Um, and we were doing ads for people, but the SMMA wasn't really working for us. It was working for the clients, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. Then we paid someone to show us how to scale our online business to 10K plus. Um, and we took lots of things in from them. So we've paid quite a few people now to work with us. But I mean, from this, the investments definitely pay back, and I had to learn it somehow. And to be honest, I look at things like all your favorite, like everyone's favorite, like gurus online and all these guys doing well. They're paying people better than them as well. So the reason why they don't want to talk about it online though is because they need to be seen as the authority figure. Um, but I mean, I have no problem kind of speaking about it. And everyone pays for it. You got to learn somehow, right?
For sure, and I think that's a real nice message. I hope that some people listening will be inspired to actually go and be like, I don't care if I might be struggling as a student or whatever, but like you said, as a student, you spent 500 on a 1 hour session, right? And if you can do it and it's led you to where you are now, hopefully that inspires someone to do the same. I just wanted to finish off before we go on to the final question with I think that when I was looking through the content that you're putting out, I noticed quite a few of them are kind of focused around bits of AI and how like ChatGPT can help with content, and also like how Instagram's implemented features like the trial, the real one, right? And how that can help your content. So from that point of view, do you see like the future of what you're doing as a business? Do you see something like AI and ChatGPT threatening it, and basically businesses will go to them and ask them what to do with their content instead of asking you and paying you? Or do you see it as something that's going to be complementary, that the services you can now bring to business because you understand how ChatGPT or how Instagram's features can help them with content? Do you think it's going to benefit your business in the future?
I mean, definitely. I think it'll definitely. Let me think about this question here quickly. Good question.
Thank you.
I mean, AI is super powerful, and I definitely think it's the future. And honestly, it depends how you use it as a business owner. If you look at it and say it's going to take over my business, then the odds are it probably will. But if you look at it in a way and say, I can leverage this to make me more money, to scale my business even further, and look at adapting it, then you'll have major success with it, right? I don't really look at AI as something that's going to screw me. I think that if I adapt and learn how to implement it, then it'll work very well. I mean, I'm looking at some ways where maybe I could turn myself into a AI avatar and I don't even have to make
Wow.
videos anymore. So my AI avatar will just be talking instead these days.
Wow, that'd be amazing. We'll interview him on the next episode.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on the next episode.
Yeah, for sure.
So good to chat, man, on that, and it's like so interesting to hear from someone else in the industry. But nah, clearly you're smashing it. So thanks for your time, mate, and we ask all our guests the same final question just to wrap things off, which is, if you had to go back to a time in the past, maybe when you were working in the restaurant and grafting hard for that, what is one thing you do the same? What is one thing you do differently? And what is one thing you tell yourself to motivate yourself?
Yeah, one thing I do the same is definitely never stop trying things. I mean, it sounds kind of cheesy, but if I never tried everything, I would never be at the point now. Um, if I stopped and kind of said this isn't going to work out, um, I mean, it's fine. If it's fine if something doesn't work out, things are going to fail. Just keep trying, right? So that's what I would do is just keep trying, even if I'm losing money. Like what I just work a few more days, make a bit more money, and try again, right?
Love that.
One thing I do differently, maybe, hmm, I'm not sure. That's a good question because it's hard to look back and say. I would have probably, I wish I would have left earlier. And I had a lot, I was scared to leave, and quitting was really hard, because it's all I knew. I've always worked for people my whole life. So quitting was hard. But once you stop and you kind of make that first move and take the step and leave, there's honestly, in my mind, there was no going back, right? It's not like people said, "Oh, you'll be back. I'll see you back." I remember I was leaving, saying bye to people, and they were like, "Oh, you'll be back." I was like, I just in my mind, I was like, I'll never go back. And it was hard. It took many years, but I had some money, like a decent amount of money saved up, like 5K or something, and I should have left earlier, but I was scared to do so. But I wish my family was saying don't, everyone around me was saying don't, but I wish I left earlier. That's one thing if I could go back, I do. And sorry, I forget the last question.
What would you tell yourself to motivate yourself?
Tell myself something I tell myself to motivate me.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, good question. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I was really like motivation's one thing, but I kind of look at it as like motivation will come and go, but discipline is what you need, and that's what I had was the discipline. You could have motivated me one day, but the next day I would maybe feel upset or feel tired. I don't know if I'd want to motivate myself, but I tell myself, my old self, to stay disciplined and keep doing what you're doing, because if I stay disciplined, this means every day I'm not, every week, every month, I'm not going out, I'm not spending my money on stupid shit, I'm not wasting my time, I'm consistently learning, whether I feel happy or sad, whether, you know what I mean, your girlfriend dumps you, or whether you just ate a bunch of junk food and you feel lazy, but go back in the gym, work out, and continue grinding on the business. So I'd say just stay disciplined. Motivation will come and go.
Love that. No, some fantastic messages, Mike. I really appreciate your time. Like Sol said, I know obviously you guys are in the same industry. I'm sure Sol has got some great takeaways, but for me as well, like I'm always interested in seeing what Sol's doing. It's such a kind of foreign world to me, but you've shone a light on a totally different side to it as well, and some really important messages. So thank you so much for making the time to coming on, and I really think there's a lot of like golden nuggets in there for our listeners to take from it. So thank you for sharing, and I really appreciate it. Hopefully we might bring some clients as well, or at least some people who are going to be inspired by you. So thank you.
Yeah, boys, it was great. I appreciate it, and honestly, I think I'm not sure if we're still recording here, but I had
Yeah.
like one last thing. I just want to say to like whoever is listening, I was just I just thought of myself as in high school. I just was a sports guy. I'd play hockey. I do sports. I go out, drink, and party and do this shit. And I thought like being smart and knowledgeable and doing these things wasn't cool. Um, but I realized that, I mean, people can do anything. You can change, even if you're drinking and you think your life is, you're not smart. You could do anything, honestly. I was just screwing around, playing hockey, drinking, and I totally changed. I was disciplined for years, and now my life has completely changed. So, anyways, boys.
Wow. No, I mean, that's actually a great addition at the end there because Sol Hyde was exactly the same. I could tell you some stories about Sol at university when we first met each other that probably reflects exactly that. He wasn't playing hockey, he was playing rugby, so the English equivalent, but everything else.
And likewise for Jamie. I think it's equally to say all three of us on the call have made a good change. I can tell you some great stories about Jamie as well. But yeah, I love the sentiment, Mike. 100%, brother.
We might have changed a little bit. No, thanks so much, Mike. And yeah, we'll stop the recording there. But like I say, thank you so much. And I'm sure lots of people take a lot of value from this.
Okay, love that. Very cool to speak to Mike. Jamie, first takeaway, please.
Yeah, it was a really good conversation. I enjoyed that a lot. I think I learned a lot more than I think I was going to. I thought a lot of the conversation was probably going to confuse me, but it was really interesting. I think the first thing, which was the overarching message of a lot of his answers, right from one of his very first answers all the way through to one of the ones on our final question, is just to never stop. He began by saying that if you never stop, it will eventually pay off. So just keep going, keep going, keep going. He says even now, when he's still what you would define probably as, and a lot of people would define as successful, he's still keeping going, he's still trying everything, and he's never going to stop doing that. And then he said it at the end as well that like his just advice and what he would do the same is just never stop trying, and always continuing to push on in whatever he was trying to do. So he talked about trying different things like day trading and like working in the bar, like all of this stuff is probably led him to being able to do what he's doing now. And that's why he said like never stop trying all these different things and never stop, and it will pay off eventually.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. It's 100% the way to do it. It is cliche, but at the same time, in this online business world, 100% is the thing, and also with testing content and all that sort of thing. So yeah, very cool. Very cool to say that. And I'd say the second thing is like to bang out another cliche is you actually can change your life around. And I think, me and you would also attest to, as we kind of had a joke at the end there, but you can be one person and then decide to be a different person and actually grow. And there's very, like, that's a very good thing to do. And it sounds like that was Mike's story 100%. He was like, yeah, look, here's the sort of person who had that fun 20s and going around and having a few beers every now and then, but you can also turn things around and switch your life up. And that was cool to have that as a message. And if someone's listening right now and they're like, oh yeah, I realized that I've fucked the last few years around, then yeah, cool, but you can kind of define how that moves forward.
Yeah, definitely. It's a real fascinating topic for a lot of us, and I think obviously within our friendship groups and stuff, it's a conversation that's always been ongoing. So I thought his take on it was really interesting, and it doesn't like go to say that one way is right and one way is wrong. It just comes down to what you're motivated by and what you actually want to do and where you want to put your priorities. And I think that was really interesting to hear why he decided to make that change and how he decided to make that change. So yeah, definitely a really good takeaway. Then I think my final takeaway, which I think was something that you and I have discussed a lot in the past, and I'm not going to say outsourcing, but that could have been a takeaway, but I probably would have been hypocritical of me. But the one I was going to go for was the mentorship side of things. Like, I know it's something that I've benefited from, having some really important mentors in life. I've been fortunate in that the kind of role that I'm in, you don't really have to pay the numbers that he's paying, but I understand that if you want to go down the route of something like what he's doing, and for anyone listening that might be considering that, you might just have to kind of wrap your head around the fact that you're going to have to try and fork out some money and find some money from somewhere to be able to fund some of the best mentors in the industry. Someone like yourself, maybe Sol, someone like him, whoever, you're going to have to spend some money to get people who can coach you and they know what they're doing and they can help you build up in this industry so that eventually you can make a career of it yourself. So that mentorship, again, coming through is a really important takeaway.
Yeah, I love that, man. And 100%, like, definitely from both of us, is a big part of our journeys. So yeah, I would say, yeah, basically those wrap ups is firstly, don't stop trying new things. Second is you can change your life around. And third is the importance of guidance and mentorship. Very, very good episode. Enjoyed that. Again, Mike, someone in a really cool space who's definitely going to be pushing on to cool things. And another person who is on the path less chosen. So thank you very much for your time listening, and we will catch you next week.